Hello everyone, my name is Adityawarman Harun, student number 071, and today I will explain to you Fotios Karamitroglou's main points and principles, as well as how his theory influenced translation practices and understandings. Fotios Karamitroglou's main points and principles. Karamitroglou's concept aims to locate certain factors in audiovisual data, determine which type of audiovisual translation should be utilized, subtitling or revoicing. This concept looks into not only audiovisual translation alone, but also audiovisual translation as it fits in the broader scope of translation itself. Karamitroglou also stated that audiovisual translation, much like literary translation, stems from the need to cross language barriers. Karamitroglou then stated that each language system varies in cultures, which means translators must take into account the target language system or the target audience norms. And then he further stated that it is not important which norms were used to create the source text. Rather, the translator needs to pay attention to the target language norms. Now, moving further on, Karamitroglou's framework consisted of four independent factors, which are 1. Human agents, which are the people who try to conform to norms, and even according to Karamitroglou himself, these are the most important people because they support or trigger the modifications of these norms. And then the second one is products. As the name suggests, products are the aftermath or result of the translation process. They can be either actual text themselves or even the writers themselves, because those writers follow the translational behavior, translating translating behavior. Uh, and then the third one is recipients. Recipients are the target demographic or specific audience of a text. Their expectation may be different compared to the human agents, which is why, as he stated, it is important to observe both expectation of the recipient and human agents to create a correct audiovisual translation. And then the last but not least is the audiovisual mode. Uh, the audiovisual mode is the sets of rules regarding linguistics and sociocultural that need to be followed to create an audiovisual text. Now, these four factors depend on each other as equals, but can be seen operating at different levels. According to Karamitroglou himself, there are three levels, which are the first one lower. At this level, only one piece of audio translation is taken into account. And number two, middle. At this level, audiovisual translation is focused on as its own field. And number three, upper. At this level, audiovisual translation is used in context with the whole field of translation. Now, moving on to the third point, how theory influences translation practices and understanding. As I stated before, Karamitroglou's translation strategies provide translators with a systematic framework for addressing the linguistic and sociocultural challenges in audiovisual translation. This, in turn, boosts quality and effectiveness of said translated content. And the second one, uh, and next, I was saying, I didn't mention the number. Next, there are the norms in translation, as I've stated above. His research has contributed to the understanding that there are norms in translation, particularly in the context of audiovisual translation. By exploring factors that influence the translator's choices between different translation methods, such as subtitling and revoicing. And then the third one is pedagogy. Karamitroglou's work has influenced the translation education by providing theoretical insights and practical guidelines for training future translations, especially those specializing in audiovisual translation. And then the last but not least is obviously professional practice. His research findings have implications for professional translation and practitioners working in the field of audiovisual translation, offering valuable insights into the decision-making process and strategies employed in translating audiovisual content.
Hello everyone, my name is Josephine Desi with student number 072, and here I'm going to tell you about Dr. Fotios Karamitroglou biography. His name is Fotios Karamitroglou. He was born on June 30, 1971 in Thessaloniki, Greece. In 1999, when he was 18 years old, he entered and got a BA in the School of English at the Aristotle University of Thessaloniki. Then he moved to England to earn a master's degree at the University of Manchester Institute of Science and Technology, or called as UMIST, after serving in the Greek army as a reserve cadet officer. At the UMIST, he received his MSc in Translation Studies in December 1996. He got sponsored by the Greek State Scholarship Foundation, or called as IKI. He remained at UMIST for a PhD research in audiovisual translation and to be awarded in July 1998. Dr. Karamitroglou is a member of ASIST, or known as European Association for Studies in Screen Translation, and a member of ET, or known as British Institute of Translation and Interpreting. His employment record comprises in the translation from into English, Greek of numerous financial, legal, and marketing texts, and the subtitling of various audiovisual products. And his notable works, he writes so many books and articles, but the most known book is called Towards a Methodology for the Investigation of Norms in Audiovisual Translation and the Choice Between Subtitling and Revoicing in Greece, Amsterdam. And his contribution to the translation theory is about the norms in audiovisual translation, or called as the screen translation. So it's like subtitling from the film or video and the television or phone.
My name is Rahmatullah Asral, student number 153, and in my part we are going to discuss about the examples based on Fotios specific norms in audiovisual translation. Examples based on Fotios's specific norms in audiovisual translation. The first one is retaining linguistic items, which means keeping important words or names the same when translating. For example, in English we say, "The Avengers saved New York City from destruction," which translates to Indonesian as, "Para Avenger menyelamatkan kota New York dari kehancuran." We keep the words Avenger and New York City the same in both English and Indonesian to help people understand in what context we are speaking in. The next one is adapting synthetic structures, which means changing how sentences are put together to make them easier to understand in the new language. For example, in English we say, "Iron Man is believed by many to be the strongest Avenger," which translates to Indonesian as, "Banyak yang percaya Iron Man adalah Avenger terkuat." We changed the order of words in Indonesian to make it easier to read, but still mean the same thing. The next one is cultural adaptation, which means making sure the translation fits with the culture of the audience. For example, In English, we say, the Americans celebrate Thanksgiving with a big feast, which translates to Indonesian as warga Amerika merayakan Hari Raya Syukur dengan pesta besar. Using cultural adaptation, we translate the word Thanksgiving into Hari Raya Syukur, which is a cultural celebration more familiar to Indonesian audience. And also the phrase big feast translates to pesta besar, which in this context is more familiar to the Indonesian audience.